This is TWiT.
The big news is the public beta for iOS 18, macOS
Sequoia.
Sequoia.
Yeah.
Sequoia. Do we say Sequoia?
Sequoia.
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 Koya or Koya?
Koya.
From the after the mountain range in Long Island, of course.
Yeah, Sequoia. You got your Sequoia there.
It's next to Secaucus.
iOS 18, iPadOS 18, macOS Sequoia.
Yep.
watchOS 11 and tvOS 18.
Indeed. We are in public beta
Should
season
we?
now.
Yep.
Is what I'm asking you, Jason Snell. Should we? We can, but just because you can
Yeah.
doesn't mean you should.
So what I would say, having written so many thousand words about this now,
I really want to.
It's in perfectly good shape. I think especially macOS, you could run the beta and it would just be a little different, but you wouldn't really, it's not a big deal. But that's because Apple has exited the era where they put everything in the OS and then some of it was broken, and now they just don't put it in there until
it
it's
works.
ready to be mostly
So
functional.
this is reliable enough that you could put it on a production phone?
You might be able to. I mean, phone is harder because the battery drain, right, can be serious because they don't necessarily optimize for battery. The advantage of something like the Mac is it's got a big battery and it's a little easier to plug it in wherever you're working. Not always, but the downside of that is a lot of the features that you're thinking are going to be in there aren't in there. Because
intelligence
they've
isn't
withheld
there
them, and this year more than ever because Apple Intelligence isn't going to be in there. Yeah. So there will be some intelligence-related features that will probably be in by the end of the summer, some machine learning features, but most of them won't be there until probably early next year. So yes, it's safe, but don't get too excited because a lot of the features that you may be thinking of aren't in there. But I'm running this Mac that I have in front of me is running Sequoia, and it's got some really nice little features in it, and then there's the stuff that isn't in it anymore. But there's good stuff. There's good stuff in there.
6colors.com. You have an article. Dan Morin has an article. You talked about it on the 6 Colors podcast.
We laid it all out there.
Spilled a lot of ink. I won't
yesterday.
make you go through.
Yesterday.
Here's your handwriting being fixed.
Yeah, on iPadOS. There are only 3 features on iPadOS, but the handwriting stuff is one of them. And handwritten math notes, and
fix
tab
it
bar.
Much.
It doesn't, but it is kind of weird, right, to see it rewriting my handwriting as it goes, because my handwriting is not very good to begin with, and it seems to emulate that pretty well by fixing it, but still making it kind of unreadable. I find that hilarious. On the Mac, though, like iPhone mirroring is really great. That's the thing.
I really want
You need
that.
the betas of both iOS and macOS in order to use iPhone mirroring, and there are a few things that are not quite hooked up yet, but it works, and it really works well. It's a continuity feature, so it uses Bluetooth, I think, to make the connection and then Wi-Fi to do the data streaming. But your phone can even be 20, 30 feet away, and you click iPhone mirroring. And the way it's going to work is if you get a notification from your phone on your Mac, you can literally just click that notification, and it will launch the app in iPhone mirroring in a little window that looks like an iPhone but is on your Mac. They did a really good job. It is extremely useful, and I'm somebody who parks my phone nowhere near my desk. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this because I think, oh man, okay, I got to look at that on my phone, and I got to get up and go over and do 2 things and then come back to my desk. And I'm not going to have to do that. It's a nice little feature.
It also rotates.
It auto rotates. This is actually a thing that they need to do. Is the problem is you can't manually rotate it, and you need to be able to do that because sometimes an app is much better when it's horizontal, and right now it only rotates when it is forced into horizontal. But it's summer; they could fix that. I hope they do.
You're playing the train game on here.
Yeah, that's Mini Motorways, which is a fun little game, and it streams the video. Is streaming at full quality, and it's streaming audio along with it. And the audio, there's no lag.
Sold me.
So it's like your phone is on your Mac. Is basically what it is. You can't get enter jingle mode, which kind of bugs me because you can't edit the home screen.
Enter jingle?
You can't enter jiggle mode.
You can't enter jingle mode.
Enter jingle mode. Sequoia. You can't do that. And then there's, they put the tiling feature in, which it's great. It's not going to satisfy people who are like super power user tilers, nor should it. It is for general people. And it's like, how do you want to tile and arrange your windows? You can do it with your keyboard. You can do it with a menu item. You can do it by clicking on the little blue dot. You can do it by dragging and dropping. Like they covered it all. It's a really good
By now,
basic.
though, everybody who has a Mac has swish or rectangle.
Well, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. A lot of people just don't bother, and that this might be enough. And for the people who care enough to have one of those third parties, all the third-party apps will do more than this, right? Like this
Even
is basic.
Raycast, I can type in center half and so forth.
Yeah, but now any stock Mac, you'll be able to do whatever it is, like globe control, right arrow, and the window just goes to the right.
It actually looks like a short version of the rectangle menu. Come to think of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So yeah, I can just sit here with my keyboard and
nice.
and kick the
I wish
thing
you
around.
could see it. It's a
you
thing of beauty.
Can't see it, but
and a joy
just
forever.
imagine you're just using the keyboard. It's good. It's again, like it should have been there a long time ago.
It's been on Windows for years.
It's good. Yeah, they built a passwords app that's across.
Oh no, this was okay.
Oh, yeah, background replacement.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Now you may say, Jason, you don't look so comfortable in your garage, but he's not in his garage.
I'm sitting in a camp chair under a redwood tree, not a sequoia, a redwood tree in my backyard. But Apple's using all of their very good object detection, subject detection in video in their whole video pipeline. They've been playing with this for a couple of years with a video pipeline. Your cameras on the Mac no longer just go to software. They go through Apple's pipeline and then come out to your software. And so they can now do background replacement, and it's better than the ones that are in other apps. It really is.
Question from Jeff Shapiro watching live on YouTube right now. Does Passwords, is it available, the new Passwords app?
Passwords app is available.
And does it replace Keychain or what exactly?
Yeah, it's basically Keychain Access, I think, is still there, but it's there for like encryption keys and stuff that are advanced that almost no users are ever going to use. They moved the Wi-Fi stuff from there into the Passwords app, and then everything else is coming from the settings password section, and they poured it into the Passwords app. It's a 1.0. I imported my passwords and it got real sluggish. Like it was like 2,000 passwords. I can't cope. And they need to, again, it's beta. Perhaps it will be fixed. Perhaps I just needed to wait, but it was.
That's disappointing. So don't rush into that. Keep your Warden or your 1Password.
That's a flag I've got for the end of the summer is performance on the Passwords app, but it does work. And then my other complaint about
expected, by the way, as you lose battery life on your phone, you also lose performance because they're not yet optimizing for either.
That's exactly it. That's some of the last screws to get tightened down. So I think that they will fix it. I hope that they will fix it. But I will say, because they built it in presumably Swift UI, it runs on Mac and iPad and iPhone and Vision OS. It runs on all of them.
Nice.
However, I will say, it seems to me that maybe it was not thought through on the Mac and the iPad, because each of the individual items in the password manager, you can click on them, but you can't drag them. And the problem with that is you've got the little smart groups off on the left side. You can't like drag one out and assign it to a group.
And you really want to.
And being able to drag something out to assign it is just a little UI thing, but they got it like that's one of those things where you're like, oh, this is an iPhone app.
This is why they do betas.
But this is why it's a beta.
So they get feedback from people like Jason Snell.
Yeah, I will judge them more harshly in September than I will right now.
Right. So don't judge them. But now you've really kind of tempted me. There seems like there's a lot of, I don't know, quality of life features, especially in Sequoia, like this with Safari, to be able to take embedded video and zoom it full screen, even if it doesn't want to.
Yeah, some websites are not going to like it, but they're basically detecting that the playing video on the page, and they're zooming it out to the full screen and dropping in a dark background and giving you standard macOS video controls, including I have a little bookmark lit in order to kick a video into picture-in-picture, but you don't need that anymore, because if you put it in viewer mode, among the standard controls is picture-in-picture, and you can kick any video from any web page out into picture-in-picture as well if you want to do that. It's it's very smart. We'll see if websites try to fight it and try to break it, but it's a good feature.
Inevitably. Yeah. Why, I don't know, but they will.
Yeah. And then you get your usuals. The tapbacks now cover all emojis and stickers and stuff, and it all just works as a tapback. And you need the latest betas to have that. Old people on the non-beta OSs will get a message that says, Jason reacted to that message with sunglasses, smiling face. And it's like, okay. Less exciting. Yeah. But in this fall, when we're all on the current versions, it'll be great. It'll be a utopia of tapbacks.
Are you tempted, Andy?
To install the beta?
Yeah, the
definitely.
Public beta. I think I might.
Yeah, it's the public. Apple's public betas are generally been pretty good. Like Jason said, they've stopped kind of treating it like a beta and started treating it more like a trial balloon. Like let's have these features stable and let's see how people react to it, and we'll get data on where we screwed up and where we need to put some more work in. That said, I still wouldn't put it on like my one iPhone. One of the biggest things that maybe Jason might have something to say about this, but one of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot is that battery optimization is not often one of the earliest things to get locked down.
Indeed.
So people might think, oh my God, this next version is going to be a disaster because my battery went down like 20% in like 1 hour. It's like, no, that's just because there's a whole bunch of fine tuning that goes on, and they probably haven't bothered doing that yet until they get something sometimes close to Golden Master. And yeah, losing like an hour and a half or 45 minutes of battery life is very, very bad when you're 30 minutes short of having a full battery and you need to call an Uber.
Yeah, that's the number one reason not to put your iPhone on the beta, is that it may kill your battery. And the other thing is, Andy, in addition to them not optimizing until you get to sort of around final candidate stage, is you have this effect where every time you do a new version, and the betas are coming fast and furious in the summer, there's a certain number of things on the system that need to be re-indexed and recalibrated and rebuilt.
Right.
And it's just like when you get a new phone and you migrate, you're like, oh, I can't believe it's so hot. And the battery is so bad. This phone is a disaster. It's battery hot gate again, right? And it's like, well, no, every iPhone,
This is normal.
and every Mac, they do a whole bunch of spotlight indexing. It's one of the reasons that when you've got all your data on device and not in the cloud, they have to reanalyze it and re-index it all the time. So every beta can do that too, if depending on what they change. And so, yeah, battery life is not at its best in the summertime.
So what do you do if you want to do this? Go to beta.apple.com.
I think so.
And then you're going to get, you have to log into your Apple account. You don't have to be a developer now, though, right? That's the point. This is a public beta.
That's right. You sign up for the beta program, and then basically it's much easier now. Once you sign up with your Apple ID, I believe all you have to do is go to the software update pane in your device, and you will be given a new option of what set of updates to receive, and it's public beta.
Yeah.
And then you go there and press update, and then you're on the public beta chain. It used to be you had to do a lot more weird stuff, but now
like add a profile. And
now it's a lot easier to do. And then when you want to hop off, you literally just go back there and say, no, I just want to be on the release version. And
except on watchOS, where you cannot hop off the bus. You are stuck on this bus.
Well, you can't go backward off of, you can't revert, but like at the end of the summer,
you'll get it.
If you want to stop getting betas, you can say, just give me the final version, and then it will just stay there.
So everything but the watch, you can revert. You can go back to.
It's a lot harder on iOS and iPadOS than it is on macOS.
So
macOS is the best because you could even literally install it on an external drive and boot to it.
Right.
Or partition your disk and have, like, you have options on the Mac that you don't have on an iPhone or an iPad.
Maybe I'm just going to do this right now. Should I be crazy? Should I be wild?
Oh, Leo.
Oh. So please enroll your iOS device. Okay. Archive it back
Leo
up.
Laporte, the Johnny Knoxville of Apple.
Oh, man.
I'm a crazy man. Stand back. You go to General. And you go to software update, and then, I've always seen this beta updates thing. I didn't realize that's all it is. And now I can choose. You could see the choices that I have. Can you see over my shoulder? Oh, yeah, there you are. The choices I have is the iOS 18 public beta, the developer. I don't want the developer beta.
What they do is the developer beta sort of comes out first, and if it's terrible and breaks things, then they don't release it as a public beta, and so it's safer on the public beta.
Or I can do the iOS 17 public beta, which
17.5 or whatever they're on now.
Oh, so it is. There is a
there's like bug fixes that come out, but it's really boring. Don't do it. Live a little.
So I've checked that box. And look, that wasn't long.
Update now, right there.
Update now. All right, let's do it. Johnny Knoxville. All right, don't look at my password. It's secret. By the way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
9876.
What was Kanye's? 0000, I think.
Yeah.
sometimes you just want it to be easy. You know, you don't want to have to remember it. Alex, you are in an interesting position because I know on the one hand you'd love to do the latest and you are easily a cutting edge guy. But on the other hand, you have work to do.
I have to admit, on my Macs, I tend to hang back. And I will probably put one of my Mac Minis on the beta just so I can watch it and I can open it up and play with it. I have to admit, on my iOS devices, I'm super aggressive. So I'm not quite on the developer. I'm not that aggressive. I guess when I say super aggressive, I jump on the betas pretty quickly. My iOS stuff lives in the beta all the time. And when something doesn't work, I go, how can Apple do this? And I go, oh, right, I'm on the beta.
It's hard to remember sometimes. Yeah.
But I'm always on the beta, because you can just set it to be like, I just changed it to 18. So it's in the process of doing stuff. I realized, I was like, why didn't I get that? And then I realized I hadn't updated it saying I want to jump to 18. And so my iOS devices are updating right now. But yeah, I'm on iOS. I don't do a lot that I feel like is, that important. I mean, it's important, but I've got also more than one phone. so I if something goes wrong, I've usually got another phone that's sitting in my backpack.
Yeah.
This is my one and only iPhone. I'm taking a little bit of a chance on this. I have 2 iPads.
You'll be okay.
I'll be okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple iPads and a couple phones, and so for me,
I'm gonna do it on my Mac too.
It goes crazy. It's usually okay.
Is Sequoia a Spanish word?
I think it's probably indigenous. I think it's I think it's from.
It's an indigenous word, so that's why we don't really know how to pronounce it because
could be
that's not how the indigenes.
That's my guess.
Sequoia sempervirens. So it depends. Yeah, I mean it would depend. The pronunciation for Spanish QU
from Sequoia, the name of the Cherokee Indian who invented the Cherokee syllabary. Yeah.
Oh wow. Chief Sequoia.
Yeah, there you go.
Huh. Let me press the English pronunciation.
Although
Sequoia.
I just found
Sequoia.
Sequoia. That is not right.
This is from dictionary.cambridge.org. So it's obviously a British person trying to sound American because they would sound
probably extra U's in there.
Sequoia.
Sequoia. Sequoia.
Sequoia.
Sequoia.
Yeah. Anyway, I've also just found a webpage that says it wasn't actually named for Sequoia, but regardless, I believe that it's intended to be from a Native American
QU,
like Seattle. And
but see, this is the problem when you Romanize the use a Roman alphabet to represent sounds that aren't in the language.
Yeah.
Is you get it happened in Chinese too. You get weird pronunciations.
Exactly.
So I don't know how well QU is the weird. Like, is that Quoya or Koya?
Right.
Who knows? Who cares? But at least you've heard it here first. Unless you already did this.
Giant Sequoia
on the Six Colors podcast.
I mean, I'm sure we did.
I'm trying to find something you haven't done.
I look, outside of 3 of the people on this show, most of the people I do podcasts with do not live in California and do not understand our strange ways. So
our weird ways.
I have to explain how California
It's pronounced like quinoa. No, it's not. Not even close. Hey, it's Leo Laporte. If you enjoyed this little snippet of our programming, make sure you check out the full MacBreak Weekly. The link is right down there.